Welcome to the Thinking Green News Moment. I'm Chris Schneider, and today my guest is Mike Banashik from Baker Road Farms. Welcome, Mike.
Well, thank you.
You're a co-owner with another Mike at Baker Road Farms.
No, I am. Actually, my wife and I, her name is Beth. So Beth and I and Mike and his wife, Lisa, and they're the Chris. So we have adjoining farms and have a collaborative effort in our organically raised produce and chickens and eggs.
When did you start this, Mike?
Together we started about 2 years ago, but I've owned this property for 29 years and have not put any pesticides, herbicides, fungicides on any of the soil.
Excellent. And so the two families got together and said this is a mutual interest?
That's exactly right. The Chris have recently moved here a couple of years ago from the Chicago area. Loving God's country, they had come to visit a couple of times on holiday and found they just had to move here. Luckily, they moved next to us and we started talking about our common interests and common goals. After retiring a couple of years ago, I had the time to continue doing some of the things that maybe a number of years ago I had done. And so we found that it was a very workable thing to be able to help each other out. We don't have to own all of the same equipment, so a lot of benefit for the two of us to get together.
Now, what's the difference between eggs that you might get at the grocery store and your pasture-raised chickens and eggs?
Well, the first thing is the freshness. The eggs that you get from us are going to be extremely fresh, generally just a few days old, and sometimes even laid the day before, whereas eggs at the grocery store are going to be something quite a bit more than that. Secondly, our chickens are pasture raised, so they have the benefit of a lot of natural nutrients, bugs, grasses, that kind of thing. So the omega-3s, there's a lot of health benefit to it. We only feed organic feed as well, and so you know that there aren't any pesticides, herbicides, fungicides going into those chickens and those eggs.
And what about the vegetables that you're doing, Mike?
Well, the kind of the neat thing with this is that with the chickens, they have a byproduct, and that byproduct has a lot of nutrients. It's about 8 times greater than what cattle manure or horse manure would be. So I paddock the chickens into the gardening area as well, and so I get the benefit of that. And our vegetables, nearly all of them are heirloom as well. We buy from Seed Savers down in Decorah, Iowa, and so we get our seeds and our transplants from there. So you get a taste that you can kind of remember, for those of us that can remember that long ago, but 40, 50 years ago, that great tasting tomato, and you just don't get that any longer when you buy the commercial stuff.
And what do you see for the future of Baker Road Farms?
Well, we see a nice gradual progression in size. We have an idea of where we want to be in terms of scale, and we don't want to get to a point where it's too much like a lot of work or too much stress, that kind of thing. So for us, we'd like to have about 140 to 150 hens, so we'll get about 100 or 110 eggs a day. We'd like to raise about 900 to 1,000 broilers for meat, and then we'll probably have about 1.5 acres to 2 acres of vegetables that we'll be raising.
And this is on either side of Baker Road then?
No, actually it's on the one side. We live right next to each other, and so we have signage out, so anyone that wants to come and visit, contact us on our website, www.bakerroadfarms.com, or you can call us at 608-857-3151 or 608-857-9915.
And that is Baker Road Farms with an S, it's plural.
That's correct.
Well, wonderful, Mike. We really appreciate you telling us about what the differences are in the chickens and the eggs and the vegetables. I know that my family has been enjoying them and other people here at Motorworks. So thanks for your efforts. We love to see you back here when you do some more future expansion. This is Chris Schneider with the Thinking Green News Moment.